Hi everyone, I'm Catherine from Peace Etc. and I guide people who grew up in mentally and emotionally unstable homes to become safe and secure in themselves through and improve their self-esteem and self-worth through inner child healing. So I mentioned in my previous video that the way I built trust again was through doing things like pushing myself out of my comfort zone. For instance, making videos and uploading them on Instagram or YouTube. But that's just really one aspect of it, and a greater part has to do with the internal work. Okay, so I'm just gonna flow with it. I don't have any script. But before, as a child who learned to get safety and security outside of myself. Like I originally started feeling very confident, very secure and safe in myself. And then due to one traumatic event, which was like the origin point, I began like questioning my worth. And that began me living as a conditioned self. I created versions of myself in order to be loved and accepted because I didn't feel from that point onwards, from that traumatic incident onwards, that I was worthy of love, of acceptance just as I was. I didn't think I was valuable. So what I did in order to feel safe and secure from that moment on was to change myself so that I would become more digestible and acceptable and lovable in the eyes of other people. And these weren't necessarily guaranteed. And like, I didn't know that these were things that these people wanted to see from me, but I just assumed as a child. I was guessing all the time and thinking, okay, if I do this, if I act like this, if I don't say this but say this instead, then I would be loved. Then I would fit in. Then I would be accepted. Again, fit in. So I was molding myself to every person that I came across, pretty much. I began to discount my experiences, deny how I was feeling, how I felt towards different experiences. I allowed certain emotions in, or myself to feel certain things, over exaggerate certain emotions, but push down and deny other emotions, ones that I didn't think were acceptable, ones that I felt were burdensome for my parents, starting with my parents and then on to my friends and other people. Like mostly my feelings. Even my preferences as well, like my interests, my passions, my preferences, what I like and don't like. Yes, it's not just my feelings, but I think feelings can be a broad term, but yeah, like pretty much my values and everything around me, I began to change in order to feel safe. Because being loved and being accepted by others created a sense of safety for me and security for me, which didn't really last, and I always had to work on and work towards getting because they didn't come from me. I was not accepting myself and loving myself just as I was, with all my likes, dislikes, values, preferences, interests, my feelings, all of my feelings. Like I wasn't accepting them. And I was trying to live up to this ideal version of me, which no one was expecting of me to be, but who I thought I needed to be in order to feel valued and like in order to feel worthy. So how I began trusting myself or building trust within was by accepting myself. I was taken to several moments in my life where I denied how I was truly feeling or my preference, interest, whatever it was. But those moments where I was denying myself and changing myself, And I would have conversations with my inner child. She would tell me how she was actually feeling, or she would let me feel the emotion that she felt in that moment as she was conforming or as she was trying to meet other people's expectations, which weren't really there, but the expectations that she thought that she needed to fulfill. Like, it was all like years later after whatever happened. And these weren't just from childhood. It would be from childhood, a lot of it, but also through my teenage years, and also in my adult life as well. So, like, any moment that I was not being true to myself, I would be shown, I would feel, and I would like transmute the energy that way. I wasn't good at empathizing with myself. That's something I needed to learn. And validating myself. I was used to invalidating myself most of the time. And so what I would do with my inner child was have her talk to me, have her open up to me little by little, tell her like, hey, I'm here with you. I'm here for you. I want to know what you felt. And when she does open up, then tell her, okay, like, yeah, like, it's sad that you're da 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 da, or like, oh, you're feeling this way, okay. And like, create warmth for her, create space for her to let it out, let herself be seen, and to accept whatever it was that she was bringing up, and to have her feel what validation feels like. And when I was doing this work, basically, it's you validating yourself, you accepting yourself as you are. I was my own worst judge. I was my own worst critic. And so, and I'm hearing, even though I felt like my mom was my own worst critic, I was my own worst critic. And so I had to learn how to not judge myself. At first, it was very difficult because I noticed that like I would try to get my inner child to feel other things than she was already feeling. I would try to talk her out of feeling certain ways or liking certain things, disliking certain things, I would try to mold her into who I thought she needed to be, like unconsciously. And then I would start catching myself and be like, oh, that's what I was doing my whole life. I need to stop doing that. And then whenever I would do that, I would apologize to my inner child and, tell her this isn't intentional and if she can open up to me again. And then that created safety for her. And my inner child, I think this isn't just for me and it's for all inner children or all our inner childs. They're very accepting, like they're very innocent. They don't try to hold grudges or hold on to things naturally. And so my inner child would forgive me whenever I'd unconsciously try to force her to feel certain ways that she wasn't feeling. And then we could start again and build more safety and trust that she would be accepted for whatever she was bringing up. I learned how to talk kindly to myself, to talk to myself with warmth. Like, okay, yeah, I understand, or yeah, I would feel this way if I were you too, or yeah, okay, yeah, I see you, I hear you, that's okay. And things like, don't, okay, you feel really scared, you feel like you're going to be abandoned, but I'll be here for you no matter what. Like, it's like through these conversations that we started having that I could feel myself softening, relaxing, and also trusting myself again. And it's like my inner voice started coming back, my inner voice from my heart, because I was allowing my inner child to feel again. Then my inner child who resides in my mind could calm down, could say her piece, have herself validated, and calm down. And I could also hear the voices from my heart. And my heart was starting to open up more and more and more. And trust comes from the heart. You can't just trust with the mind. It's not possible. All my life I had said like I trust my parents, but it was like superficial. And I wish I could have said like I trust them, but I didn't. Now that I've done so much inner child healing, like, and I have such a good relationship with my inner child, and now that I'm where I'm at right now, I can say I trust my parents, but I didn't. Because I didn't feel safe. I don't know why I told you that, but I did. Anyways, building trust within yourself, there are behaviors, like there are actions that you can take outside of yourself, but I feel like 80% is more of like a inside job. Learning how to empathize with yourself, validate yourself, accept yourself, and showing your inner child that you are loved for all the things that she may feel or they may feel for. Okay, let me just rephrase that. They're loved and accepted for all the things that they bring up. And no one can tell you what to feel, what not to feel, what to like, what to dislike, all and on and on and on. And it starts from you. And I've noticed like the more trust I've built within myself, the more like people can disagree with me and not understand me or understand my preferences, who I am, blah, 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 what I like, don't like, blah, blah, blah. But it doesn't trigger me into a nervous, like reactive state anymore. Because I, first and foremost, accept myself. And so it's not threatening when people can't understand. Because I already have that deep well of love within me. And I already feel worthy as I am. Like practicing acceptance over and over and over and over and over again. For all the times that you were not accepting yourself, practicing this over and over again builds this like inner strength and muscle. And as you accept yourself more, you realize, oh, I've always been worthy to be this way. Like all of me has always been acceptable. And, you know, your preferences may change over time, but like it's not just about that. It's like you as a person, you're acceptable and lovable as you are, without conditions, without attachment, like without people validating you. You validating yourself is the most important thing, first and foremost. And that spills over into your life. I'm going to check in and see if there's anything else I want to say. At first, it can be like kind of daunting, and you might feel like when you just begin to accept your experiences, you might feel like, oh, am I doing this right? Or like, am I allowed to feel this way? And that's the thing, like that's just a reminder to show you how much you've been conforming and changing yourself and conditionally being. Like that's just how much you were trying to survive through other people accepting you and loving you. And you were relying on other people to make you feel safe. But the more you, again, empathize with yourself and let yourself feel whatever it is that's coming up, let yourself be you, and present you to the world, the unconditioned you that accepts yourself as you are, then that like kind of doubt of, oh, is it okay to feel this way? Like, is it acceptable? Is this going to cause any rift? Is this going to cause tension? Those kind of thoughts go away with time. Trust me. I started from zero and I'm here. And I'm more comfortable in the way I experience life, the way I am. It's practice. It's like building a muscle. And the more you become comfortable in yourself, the more you feel safe in yourself and trust yourself, the more ease you begin to live life with. And also, like, the more peaceful you become inside. Those voices telling you to, like, change yourself, or like, you can't be this way, you have to be like that, you should feel this way, you can't, like, feel, all this noise goes away. And also, I've noticed that, like, the more I've internally accepted myself and validated myself, then my inner critic has disappeared. My inner critic is, like, pretty much non-existent most of the time. It can come up sometimes, but it's like going from, like, having big speakers around me like a cloud all the time telling me what I should be doing, what I can't do, and, like, pressing down on me, to, like, having this clear sky. And it's through internally, connecting with myself, connecting with my inner child, and accepting myself, listening to her, letting her talk, letting her lead, and then following up with questions. Listen to them actively, and listen to them with an open heart. You don't always have to have something to say, but, like, just you being there and saying, oh, wow, or, like, you understanding, you showing, like, you're interested in them and that you care for them and you love them. That's what really starts to create change. And the more you do that, the more your wonder child self, or the unconditioned you, can come through and start to express itself. And that's how you truly know what your values, your preferences, what your experience is. Unconditioned self is wonder child, and it has your true values. But your inner child holds the values that you learned, not just values, but, like, preferences, likes, all of that I've mentioned in this video, in this message. But your inner child holds all the conditional self, everything related to conditions, and seeking external safety and external security, or seeking safety and security from your external environment. Love and acceptance dependent on other people. So I hope this makes sense, and feel free to comment or ask questions in the comments below. And thank you so much for watching. I hope this helps you on your journey of healing your inner child and loving yourself more, accepting yourself more, and empowering yourself, and discovering more of the real unconditioned you as you discover more of your conditioned self. Thank you for watching.